Now, this is important because movement into something new often requires more than a changed location. It requires an internal transformation, and many people judge themselves for not sustaining change when part of them is still carrying old survival patterns into new seasons. Hello, everyone. I'm leaseyoumans, and welcome to the Straight Outta Trauma series. What you're about to step into isn't just a discussion, it's deliverance. I want you to know this is for you. The one who cried in silence, the one who smiled through pain, the one still asking, will I ever be whole? This is a safe space for healing, for truth, and for permission to breathe again. So exhale, lean in, and let's begin Straight Outta Trauma. Let's pause for a moment and talk this through. There's a frustration that many people carry quietly, and it sounds something like this. I keep starting over with my goals, starting over with healing, starting over with habits, starting over with my relationships, starting over with the version of yourself you keep trying to become. You begin with sincerity, you gather your strength, you make the plans, you take the first steps, and then somewhere along the way, something happens. Your momentum fades, your energy drops, and you lose connection to what you started. Then you sit in the aftermath asking, why do I always do this to myself? Why can't I just stay consistent? Or why does it feel like I'm always beginning again? But what if starting over is not the full story? What if you are not repeatedly failing? What if your system is repeatedly reaching its limits? So right now, I want to walk through why many people are not trapped in a cycle of starting over. They may be trapped in a cycle of survival interruption. Many people interpret inconsistency as a character flaw. They think, I lack discipline, I don't follow through, or I sabotage myself. But often the deeper issue is this. The nervous system can only carry so much stress, pressure, emotional weight, unresolved trauma, and internal criticism before it begins to shut momentum down. So what feels like starting over may actually be overload, dysregulation, depletion, fear responses, and nervous system fatigue. You may be sincere, your desire is real, but your internal system does not yet have the capacity to sustain what was started. And when capacity is ignored, the cycle repeats itself. Now, there is a moment in the Bible in the book of Exodus involving the children of Israel after leaving Egypt. They were physically out of bondage, but mentally and emotionally, they were still carrying bondage patterns. They had been delivered from one environment, yet they still struggled to transition fully into the next one. Again and again, they wanted to go forward. However, they responded from a place of fear, scarcity, and survival memory. Now, this is important because movement into something new often requires more than a changed location. It requires an internal transformation, and many people judge themselves for not sustaining change when part of them is still carrying old survival patterns into new seasons. You see, trauma can disrupt continuity. It can affect your ability to sustain rhythm, to trust progress, to tolerate growth, to remain connected during stress. So someone may start something meaningful, but when pressure arises, vulnerability increases, or uncertainty appears, the nervous system may interpret the new path as unsafe, and it responds by telling you to withdraw, delay, avoid, collapse, and distract. Not because success is unwanted, but because the body has learned that new things may come with risks. For some trauma survivors, beginning feels easier than sustaining because the beginning carries hope, but continuation often requires regulation, and regulation is where many people need support. Say you start exercising. Week 1, you feel strong, then stress hits your life. Your energy drops, now shame enters, so you stop and you call it failure. Or perhaps you begin healing work. You start journaling, reflecting, and setting boundaries. Then old emotions arise. Your system feels overwhelmed, you disconnect, and assume you regress. Or maybe you launch a business idea. You feel inspired, but once visibility, pressure, and responsibility appear, you procrastinate. Not because you don't care, but because your system is carrying more than the goal itself. So if you feel like you keep starting over, I want to offer you 3 things that may help you. Number 1, stop measuring only starts and stops. Many people overlook what happened between the start and the stop. So ask yourself, what was happening within my body? What stress increased? What emotion surfaced? And what pressure entered? Number 2, build smaller than your ambition. Sometimes the vision is large, but capacity to carry it out is fragile. That does not mean that you shrink your dream. It means you pace your nervous system. So try setting smaller goals, set timelines that don't overwhelm you, engage in fewer simultaneous changes, and sustainable consistency. Research supports that gradual habit formation and manageable goals can improve your follow through. And number 3, learn to restart without shame. Restarting is not the same as failing. Sometimes restarting is regulation and wisdom. Sometimes restarting is what growth looks like when healing is still underway. The goal here is to not never pause. The goal is return without self-attack. Know that you may not be someone who keeps starting over. You may simply be someone who keeps trying again while carrying invisible weight. And there's a difference. One story says, I am the problem. The other says, I need support, pacing, and healing. So don't confuse exhaustion with lack of character, and don't confuse nervous system limits with lack of destiny. Before we end, consider this. Perhaps life has not been a series of failures. Perhaps it has been a series of attempts made while carrying burdens no one else could see. And perhaps what you need now is not harsher discipline, but kinder structure. Not more shame, but deeper understanding. Not another dramatic beginning, but a sustainable next step. Now, before you log off, allow your body to hear this. Nothing is wrong with you. What you're experiencing is connected to what happened to you. Healing begins with understanding, and when you stop fighting your system, healing becomes possible. Now breathe in and let it out. Remember this, even in the silence, God speaks. Even in the pain, He is present. You're not alone on this journey. Heaven is walking with you. Until next time, rest in the truth that you are not what happened to you. Trauma may have marked your journey, but it doesn't get the final word. You are who He's healing you to become. Until we meet again, I'm leaseyoumans, and thank you for tuning into the Straight Out of Trauma series.